I think it's some more standards. I mean, obviously,
we might
the ones we gotta figure out which ones are the good ones.
We might write something to some old chords, make it our own.
Gotta do body and soul.
Yeah, yeah. Come on now.
Of it.
Oh, that's gonna be beautiful.
Show up as ourselves. Come as you are.
Come as you are.
Yeah.
I mean, we are here.
We are here, man.
Come on. I mean, we got an album out, man.
We do.
We worked.
It's out. It's almost a week.
Almost a week.
It's been almost a week.
But it was
crazy too.
It was every day of cutting it though. We were working hard.
I was about to say that's always the interesting part of releasing music. Thinking about that build up. So much goes into it, and then you like, here it goes.
What was your how old was you when you wrote your first song?
The first song I remember that I still remember like the melody and stuff. I think I was in maybe like 5th grade. And so I used to think that this is the beauty of being innocent and young. You know nothing about the music industry. So aspiring to be a songwriter at that age, I thought you would just write songs and you pick the artist that you want to sing the song, and magically somehow they were gonna get the song.
Right.
So I had written this song that I was like, oh, this is gonna be for Destiny's Child. It was so funny. It already had the melody of one of their songs that already existed. You don't know that these are the rules in the game, like until you get older. But yeah, I feel like, that's, I know I had written songs before then, but it was somewhere 4th, 5th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
That's interesting, man. I had a gig with your brother.
Yeah.
Your brother Chip, and it was Chuck.
Okay.
Uncle Chuck. And man, that must have been probably about 15 years ago, man. So to hear that you are the younger brother of such great musicians and vocalists in Los Angeles, how do you come from Watts in the projects? Because I've seen you, maybe you don't remember this. We went out to dinner in London. Me, you, Daniel.
Wow, yeah.
And the next night I saw you on the stage with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, yep.
You remember that?
I do, now that you mention that.
Yeah. Yeah, and Nicole, God rest her soul. Yeah, we was in London, man. How did you, what is that, how to go from there to Justin Timberlake? What is that? Whoa.
Man, you know, you always hear people talk about like divinity and like just things being destined. I feel like my journey was very like tailored for me. I've never seen anything like it from anybody. But you know, I was in entertainment professionally since I was like 9 years old. And so I always had contrast, which is what I think made me different than other people in my neighborhood, because I was coming back to the projects, but I was coming from these like multi-million-dollar events.
What projects are you from?
Jordan Downs.
In Watts?
Yep, Jordan Downs projects.
I knew that, but I gotta act like
I knew that. Of course. So I felt like it was crazy, because I would come home to the projects, I would leave, and at the time, most of what I was doing was Dance World. And so I was with a company called the Kennedy Tap Company. We were performing everywhere for everybody, from performing with Michael Jackson to like, Jerry Lewis, when the Telethon was the thing. We used to do all that stuff, man. And so,
Jerry Lewis Telethon.
Yeah. So we used to do all of that stuff, and I would be there around these billionaires, these tuxedos on, and would come get dropped off back at home in the projects. So I think that early on, that like put possibility and like vision in my head, I think so. And so I think that I didn't know it at the time, but it was conditioning me to believe that I could do anything. It's super possible. I'm literally coming from the projects, being around these people who don't even have any idea that this is my reality, and then going back to it. And so the coolest thing I think I would say about my journey is growing up in an area so specific as Watts. And my first really professional gig that like got me legs in the industry was with a Watts native who is Terrace. So that was one of the first artists I toured with. My first writing placement was Terrace. My first Grammy nomination as a writer was Terrace. My first, so it's just crazy coming from the city and being able to connect with somebody from the city like that on that level. And we had connected, which speaks to the synergy of LA and just that energy. We connected without him even knowing that that's where I was from. We were already like locked in and working and had great synergy. And then, the conversation presented itself where he's like, yo, where you from? I'm like, yeah, I'm from Jordan. So it was pretty crazy, man. But that kind of set me up. Once I started doing that, ended up working with a lot of great people, man, and just building my brand that way, building the trust and people knowing that you can get the job done. I think that's the important part that people don't talk about, because you can be great, but people gotta be able to trust you in these spaces when they put you on these gigs. Yeah, man. I know I'm from the east side, west side a little different, man. I'm curious to hear.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Man, I grew up in the Crenshaw district. You know what I'm saying? From the hospital, we went straight to 59th, and I'm born and raised over there, man. It was an area. It still is an area that's full of so much rich culture with music, food, people. I always say it's so interesting because you could live like on 8th Avenue, Slauson, in the Dorset Village, which is beautiful. And then just less than a mile up the street, it's a $5 million home.
Yeah.
But everybody go to Crenshaw High. Everybody go to Simply Wholesome. Some kids go to Audubon, sometimes Westchester, but it's such a mixture, man, where like you instantly grow up understanding the duality of two sides to a coin. You don't grow up thinking this is it. Because just up the street, you like, okay, I go to the same school.
Yeah.
These parents are actually even helping us out, or vice versa. So, it was a very rich culture. And then a few miles away was an area called Leimert Park that really came into my life at the right time, because I had so much dance classes, jazz, hip hop. I remember the first time I heard the word Pro Tools, it was at a place called Project Blow, and it was 1997, and it had to be 3 a.m. I was in high school. I don't know why I was there at 3 a.m. Well, that's when the jam session was. It was from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. And I heard somebody says, man, y'all better get hip. Pro Tools gonna take over the industry. Pro Tools gonna take over the industry.
They do something.
It was, it was a big thing. Now they talk about AI now.
Yeah.
They were talking about Pro Tools kind of, not like it's gonna kill everything in her, but they was talking about Pro Tools, but that was right down the street in Leimert Park. So it was so much culture between jazz, hip hop, and it was the Crenshaw district. So celebrities would come over and be outside. So we always seen a duality of things.
Yeah.
Like I remember in the 80s and early 90s, Ice Cube would always drive through the neighborhoods with the Suzuki Samurai. So you always saw Ice Cube. When Corrupt lived in the neighborhood and went to Death Row, you knew who Corrupt was. You just always knew it was some success around.
Yeah.
If you showed up, if you come as you are, if you came as you are, you know what I'm saying?
Showing up as yourself. Man.
Yeah, so man, I just stayed with the script, and I grew up with a bunch of fierce artists. Me, Kamasi Washington, Thundercat, Ryan Porter, Isaac Smith. I mean, we just grew up around the baddest cats of LA, from Billy Higgins. I mean, just on down. So I grew up doing that, but I grew up in love with hip hop. Just as much I was into jazz, 2 blocks away was a gentleman making hit records out of his garage on Arlington named Battle Cat. So I would walk past Battle Cat house and hear the garage banging. Battle Cat, you would hope he come outside. And when I got older in high school, the Battle Cat had a dually. And I remember somebody said, Battle Cat get his hair cut at Good Fred's on 54th and Western. So I said, oh, okay, I got to bump in the Battle Cat with my beat. I was a little older, I got beats now. I went to Good Fred's and I waited there for like 6 months every day for Battle Cat. And he finally came, and that's where me and him connected. So the West Side was hit because there was so much access if you was around and if you had a good spirit, because to survive in these places, a gun ain't gonna help you. A bulletproof vest ain't gonna help you. Security ain't gonna help you. The police damn sure ain't gonna help you. Your spirit is the only thing. Coming as you are, being sincere, being respectful and loving is the only way you get through those areas we from. You don't get through being cool, you get through being loving and loving back. Like how did you get through how did you get through like moving around Watts? Because I know it's a lot of different politics and all kind of different things with the gang cultures and gang life, because that's a real thing. I went to Lock High, so that's where I have my East Side tutelage at. You know, and I used to spend a lot of time in the Nickersons, and I have friends that live in the Jordanstown and the Hustler, all kind of through Watts a lot. But how did you live in it? Because I always went home, back to the West Side. How did you maneuver living in Watts?
Man, you know, when you're growing up in it, you don't really realize like the severity of like what it can turn into. It was just home for us. The same way I would imagine home felt like for anybody else, but a lot of my grounding really came from the fact that my parents were heavy church figures. So like everything that was happening outside of the house had to be checked before you stepped foot in the house. It wasn't allowed, you know what I mean? There was so much we couldn't do. I couldn't even listen to R&B music. I couldn't listen to anything outside of gospel. Like, would get in trouble for watching music videos, like having CDs that weren't gospel CDs. And you know, growing up, that feels very extreme, especially when the world around you is experiencing these things, when they're experiencing it, but you know, you feel restricted. But now that I'm older, I think every day I become more grateful for it because it gave me a different perspective and understanding. I see how different I am than the people that I came up with who didn't have the direction that I had or the protection that I had in that sense. And so, you know, being from an area like that, you know, naturally you get into trouble once you, for us, it really started as early as elementary school, but especially in middle school, you know, Watts got 4 different projects. You got the Jordan Downs, you got the Haciendas, Imperial Courts, and you got the Nickersons. We got a lot of common spaces. It's like 2 shopping centers between all 4 projects. And then you got the back streets. That's a whole different, you know, asset to that. But then you got like Jordan High, which is connected to my projects, but also you had people from other projects having to come there and hide the fact that they're from these other projects. I went to Markham Middle School first, 6th grade, and Markham, it's again, it's a common space for all these different projects. So what was happening was, whether you really wanted to get into gangbanging or not, you got to kind of ride with your people at the school, because if not, when you get back home, you have a problem. So you got to pick your side. And I feel like as I got older, I understand it more, because you'd always hear people talk about, especially in LA Unified, this like school to prison pipeline thing. And then when you think about being on the yard at school, it's like, wait, I can't go on that side because this ain't my territory. They can't come over here. We got to make sure we stick together. If you get into a fight, we all got to fight, because we got to walk home together. And if I get into something, I need y'all to help me. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like against your will, you kind of had to, but I think that taught me duality and how to survive in scenarios that aren't what I want, because it gave me other skills. So now you can put me in a room with anybody. I know how to politic. I know how to become what I need to get what I want out of that moment, but still 100% be myself. So I think that's the one great benefit of growing up in the hood, when you also have stern direction, because it gives you that duality. I got the street smarts, but I also understand how to, you know what I mean, how to not lead with that if I don't need to. But on the other end, when you're in more calm settings, you need to check somebody, you know what I mean? You know how to make it come out. So yeah, man, that's how I stayed out of it. I feel like a common space for the both of us, because you spoke about just understanding the two sides to a coin. I feel like church was that common space really for both of us, because we've grown up in the musical worlds that we did. We've also done other stuff and like worked with a lot of different people. But yeah, how was that? How do you feel like that church experience has kind of shaped your appreciation and creativity for like what you do now, or what you've offered to the world?
My mother, man, my mother grew up exactly like you. Identical, like family. I'm talking about no pants in church, the super church of God in Christ. So she grew up in a very, very structured, serious household. So when she had me, she met my dad. I think her growing up like that, people either react two ways. They either take that as a lesson, they grow up and they kind of mold their own thing, or they get to LA and they kind of go towards different things. And when my mother moved to LA, she met my dad. Not saying that she went off the left, but she met my dad. My dad didn't grow up in the church. My dad grew up in a whole nother life, the streets, gangster shit, loving God, but loving music and John Coltrane. That's his thing, and being cool to people. So I think when they both had me, they call that she went to the world, back then. Secular. Yes, secular. So I grew up complete opposite of how she grew up, where how I gang structured for the church was through really my auntie, Catherine, because when my mother had me, I don't want to use words like saved and those things, but when she had me, she was with my dad at that time. And so I know a whole different, you know what I'm saying? So when I was kind of wild and everything, everybody was checking it, but I had a lot of freedom, which it helped me and it hurt me. It helped me because I just needed to see what was out there on all the ends. So I got into a lot of trouble with the law young and street stuff and blah, 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 blah. Stuck my pinky finger in and realized I'm not tough enough to really go through with anything other than to eat a good meal and go home. So, I had to learn a lot on my own how to like really politic on my own. When I say politic, I mean I had to learn how to conduct myself by either fault or trusting somebody very close to me. I had a mentor named Marlon Williams, guitarist that was already in the game.
Yeah.
So he would teach me how to move through sessions. Like when you go to the studio, don't say nothing. If they say you want to eat, don't say you want to eat. Eat before you go. Don't wear too loud cologne because you're not here for that.
Yeah.
Play the part and leave. When they say you want to hang out, come to the party, you never want to go to the after party, blah, blah, blah. So he gave me all this game young, so I kind of just maneuvered through him, but then really had to learn my own. But it was the grace of God that when I was running my wildest, like high school to like, I would say at the time I probably could have got killed. I went to jail for a long time and just been getting out 4 days ago. Was the ages probably, and you know what's up with these ages too, 12 to 17.
Yeah.
First cat, off the porch, like, yeah, that's regular. Like, that's not like tough guy story, but that's regular.
That's when you're looking for that validation.
Yeah,
too.
and when you young,
yourself,
and you young, and LA go like, you young, you fighting with old people too, older dudes. You're not really fighting with a lot of kids your age in the streets. You fighting with like people 19, 20. So all those kind of issues, man, but it was the grace of God, man, that through Marlon Williams, he lived next door. When I was 16, I went to Marlon's house and I heard this bass play next door. Like, what is this? And Marlon said, man, that's Andrew Boucher. He lived next door. And that was the portal to happiness and joy. It was rough, but when I got with Andrew Boucher at 16, and through Andrew, Warren Campbell, and those mentors started, Kenneth Crouch, those people started coming through, my brain just automatically just switched. So now I had all these street things in me that man, those street things, man, I'm telling you, I've been in Kiev and had to use some shit to get out of some problems. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because we from a certain place that sometimes it's a war zone like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, man, but when I got with Goucher, Andrew Goucher, and started studying him, hanging with Donald Hayes, the saxophone player, the great gospel saxophonist, Kenneth Crouch, and they were all nice men and gentlemen. It taught me a whole new way, and it affected my music too. And you know, this matter of fact, the album and I think that's why I can't. Man, that song, the "Come As You Are" song, I listen to every day. That's my favorite. The second verse is just out of here, but that song to me captures, like, Andrew Goucher started this event in the late 1900s, like 98, 97, called the Praise Connection in Gardena. And it was a gospel jam session that me, Charlie, we was kids, but Warren Campbell, Tim Carmen, Jason White, Walter Millsap, Matthew Pittman, Craig Brockman, Michael Burrell, Antoine Pierce, Jamie Gamble. I mean, just that world.
Names.
Yeah, all LA, right?
Yep.
Our album to me feels like this is birthed from this era LA, because the Praise Connection was a gospel jam session in Gardena, but every now and then it'd be fights in the parking lot.
Yeah.
But everybody friends the next week. And it felt like that's what Los Angeles feel like to me. And this record we got feels like all these names, all these stories we keep coming up with. I think because when on your story, I'm thinking about, as you're talking, I'm hearing only real survive. You know, I'm hearing the songs off the record, which means it's good because this truth.
Life records. Man.
Yeah. Come As You Are.
Come As You Are, man. Title track. It's just my inspiration for the approach and everything. Specifically was the Winans and Anita Baker collaboration for Ain't No Need to Worry. Cause it's so interesting because that song could and could not be considered a gospel song.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I felt about Come As You Are, to where it's like, it's gospel because it's good news. What greater news than to find out that you can be yourself and still get everything that's for you. And so, just the essence of how that record made me feel, that was really my approach. But a huge part of it, I felt that way because that's the music already felt that way. You know what I mean? So, yeah, kind of. How'd you approach that musically? I mean, like, what was your inspiration for it?
Musically, I got in the studio, my boy Justin Tyson on drums and Marlon Williams on guitar, and I had been messing with those series of chords for a couple of weeks. Just those kind of movements, simple movements, but just movements. And so we had just done that idea, and I didn't think nothing of it. And then 6-7 years later, me and you doing this project, and I'm going through that era of music because I knew I was in the studio with me and Justin and Marlon, and we didn't know where this music was going one day, but we know this felt good. Yeah. Let's just write this music. Let's not add too much, because if you add too much, it'll put times on stuff. Let's just get it where it's simple. And I'm always thinking about the Winans. I'm always thinking about Commission. I'm always thinking about just the whole Detroit vibe, you know, because they just, that soul, you know, they took gospel to the next level to me, you know, with strong R&B influences. So I'm always trying to do that. I'm always thinking about Warren Campbell, you know what I'm saying? So when I sent that record to you, it was just part of a thing. I was like, let me hear. He's been killing this other stuff. Because I remember it didn't have no bass or nothing on it.
Mm-hmm.
I sent it to you and those words, man. You know, I'm really on the words these days. The song's gotta mean something and say something for me to be activated at this point in my life. They can't just be a vibe no more. I think the word vibe has been just overly used and like it's another word to just be okay.
Vibing is interesting because I do feel like it's what people use for a lack of description when there's no definition in something. And it can be great. I think there's a world where vibe and substance can coexist though.
Yes.
So I think what happens now with society today as it pertains to music, vibing or something that's a vibe ends up being a way to describe something that nobody think is long lasting. It's cool for the moment. Well, yeah, that's a vibe. It's like a couple months go by, nobody even care about this. So I try to stay away, create vibes without substance, because I think that you can have a vibe, you can have a good time, but it can also mean something. So yeah, that's what. Yeah, though, it's kind of been that for me. And the interesting thing about "Come As You Are" the entire album, you know, obviously has this like gospel undertone, and what also seems like an extension of the title track to me, Isley's Hymn, because it's really a different way to tell that same story.
Yeah.
Because we're still talking about "Come As You Are," but you know that's a special record. Obviously, having my daughter on there is that'll forever be one of the most special records I've ever been a part of. Just because that's a memory that you take that with you for life. But it added an extra level of purity to talking about coming as you are that way. Because there's a certain innocence and purity that a child has that you lose as you experience the world. So I feel like we're even looking at duality in that space, because it's like you have the purity and then you have the experience that's trying to get back to the purity all together. And I think it's creating like a beautiful, it's like a beautiful like dissonance in a way, because there's some, some things that wouldn't ideally work together in those spaces. And I think that's like the beauty of it. But I know, Isley's Hymn, man, especially starting off the album with that, it's such a statement. It's so powerful, man.
Yeah. I remember when you sent me that, it was just the acapella.
Yep.
Just the acapella. I remember hearing it like, and instantly, everything that was added, I think, because when I played it in the car, I just dropped my daughter off at school.
Yeah.
So I got to play it and just look at kids walk and people walk and just, I'm always playing music that we create. I'm always testing it or seeing what I can add to it in real life settings, not in the studio. I'm trying to get up in the morning, drive to school, drive to the grocery store. I'm trying to check my art in real life to make sure it's not on this weird artistic pedestal world niche over here, you know, where it's closed up. And man, that's another one of those words, man. Those words are so inspiring. And hearing her voice,
so pure,
it makes you listen, because it's like, you kind of get, it makes you instantly, hearing a child's voice to me, once again, this is my opinion, it makes me feel instantly reflective of my life.
Yeah.
Hearing a child's voice is like one of those things of like, it clues into my innocence, where right before things went left or right, or before things went any way other than the way of an innocent child. So hearing that, and hearing her with you, all these layers, and you with her, and both of y'all sounding beautiful together, and me knowing that memory, me growing up in a house of music, I have records with my parents. I have, like my father's no longer here, but that's the one thing we did. We recorded my Grammy nominated, whatever, many records with my father that I made sure I recorded, because that's the gift that money can't buy. That's a gift that Isley's, you just changed the course of your whole family with that. Isley's children's children could go back and say, oh, if they ever working out family issues, hey y'all, we supposed to be tight like this.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah.
That's a man. That's a real thing. So, you know, and I remember when we did it, you came over, we had Rob over there, Robert Glasper. And when he heard it, I didn't have to say, I saw his face. We have children, we have daughters. Yeah. I saw his face, and that was those chords we heard, we was all right there. That was the first thing he played. You know, and that was just warm, like it was like for me and Rob, it felt like the father and the uncles uplifting Isley, like putting her, showing a glimpse of the future and what's already surrounding her with love, and behind her father first, and then the surrounding of the music with the unks, and it just felt like a village. It felt like a family thing, and not only that, but just the fact that, you know, Isley's lineage, like we all have done this thing where we all work together, right? It's like a real family. She's a very special child, and I think what's happening I mean, first of all, birth to you, Alex, two beautiful parents, and now I see a world with this recording with her. Beyond the entertainment business though. I'm not even talking about, I'm just talking about like, uh-oh, you done lit the fire. Cause we didn't have that. We didn't have parents that could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, come on. Cause it's loving, but it's also, okay, you wanna do this? I've been hearing you do this. Throw you in, let's go. Come on, let's go. Like church.
She's always ready.
It's the new church.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, you doing it at the house? Okay. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it's that progressive, more progressive way, or an alternative approach to how we learned, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Cause that's how we learn. You know, you always you get a song, but you know when you're young, you get to sing a song. Yep. Maybe the big time organ player play one time behind you. You know, but if you killing, everybody want to play behind you.
Yeah, man. And I feel like there's no better teacher than experience. Gotta jump in there and you know, just do it, man. So that's.
And her tone and her spirit keeps the whole record in line.
Yeah.
Right when you keeps the whole record in line.
So pure, man. Love yourself.
Love yourself. That's Charlie Burrell on guitar.
Shout out to Charlie, man. That's a record, man. I love that record so much. I felt like. What up,
man?
Bro?
Come on in here, man. Come on, we doing the interview. Come on in. Come on. Come on. No, you look good. You a fucking star.
Bro, I'm in my.
I like those.
They're very comfortable. Very.
What room are you in?
I'm in Studio 4.
Man, can we come do a song with you later?
Yes, please. I got a perfect record queued up right now.
That's Channel. Stop playing.
Yep, I'm gonna just right into it. See me, I'll be here all day.
Love you, boy. We'll be over there in a minute.
Love you, bro. Yes, sir.
That's good company.
Yeah. Love yourself, man. I love that record. What I feel like what speaks the most to the record is literally the hook, which I've had to explain. It says, "Love yourself, don't fall in love," and it's because I believe that you should be intentional about things so massive and things so long-lasting. Something as long-lasting as love, you should never fall into it. It's something you should be able to walk into with grace, with experience, with trusting the hand that's walking you into it. You know what I mean? And so I think that starts by loving yourself first. You have to love yourself, and your cup. You know, we always, it's the church parallel, but we always talk about pouring into other people's cup. But I think pouring into somebody's cup should never come from you emptying your own. It should come from your cup being so full that the overflow of it, you have enough love inside of yourself that you can give it to somebody else. You're not losing your love to give to somebody else. And so that's what I feel like even musically the song portrays that. It feels like that. There's something about it that, you know, just kind of takes on that feeling.
Yeah. It was created, that song was, the music, I did that music about a year ago. The music was created out of love. The music was created originally on me and Charlie Burrell from Pasadena wanted to just get in the studio as being friends for over 20-something years and just write songs about love.
Yeah.
But I love him, he loved me. We all love each other, so it felt, those sessions was love. Like we gotta get him some of the videos of them sessions of just laughing and talking and just festive and nothing being serious. So once again, giving you the music and you channeling without us even talking exactly, letting the music talk. The music talk. I didn't text you what to write. It was just like you wrote that frequency, man. You wrote the frequency. The music was that. You obeyed the music. We obeyed that's a vibe.
Yeah.
When two things connect.
Yeah.
That's a vibe that happened. And that's one of my favorite songs, man. I think that song is gonna be around years to come, man. I'm curious to see how that song is gonna grow up. Right now it's a baby, so let's see how it's gonna grow up.
Yeah, man, I love that. That brings me to 211.
211? What?
You know,
What?
The funniest thing about that record is that I had no idea how many connections there were to it. As far as like even there being a alcoholic beverage.
Yeah. That's what I thought you was on.
And finding out 211 is police code for robbery.
Yeah.
There's so many parallels. And the song really, that speaks to being on that frequency, because when you talk about the song, it's about an exchange. And it's like, it's robbery in a way, except everybody's leaving with something. You know what I mean? It's a real exchange. It's so, 211 feels so fast-paced. East Coast to me is so New York. I see us walking down, you know, one of the Aves with it feels super East Coast to me, man.
Musically, I was working on an album called Polaroid, and the album Polaroid was documenting the village that I come from another angle, but it was getting deep, and there was some real strong, reputable people involved in my documentary and my album. So that song was created for that.
Yeah.
So once again, the urgency was that, and I grew up a lot of my life in Harlem. My dad used to live all through New York, so I'm always on that energy, you know. And I love East Coast rap. I love Public Enemy, Hank Shockley. I love like the frequencies of that. You know, I love classic NWA. You know what I'm saying? So just musically, I always had that in my bag. Not too long, but once again, after you was knocking these out, I tried to throw you a curveball.
Yeah.
I said, man, let me see, man. I know he, ooh, baby, ooh. So I want to see, could he handle some, and man, when I tried to throw you a curveball, and you caught that shit like,
hey man,
poof.
You're not right for the pop guy.
Oh man, you bodied that.
Yeah, man. I felt like what would have been the curveball was See You Later. See You Later, because you know the way that record happened was the day I was coming to you to turn in the sessions I had been working on at the crib so we could start the mixing process.
That's right.
And we're meeting at 11 a.m. And I dropped my daughter off at school at 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
My plan was to go to the gym, come back home, shower, go meet you at 11. And on the way to dropping her off at school, you sent me maybe like 3 more tracks, and See You Later was one of them. And I heard it, and I was like, I can't go to the gym. I got to go back home real quick because I got an idea already. And somehow got that idea, wrote it, recorded it, all to Still Meet You at 11. So that was, I felt like, and it's so funny because 211 and See You Later were two of the last records that we did. It ended up being the 2 first records that we even put out.
Yeah, wow,
That's
I didn't
pretty
realize
crazy.
that. Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes though. The
Yeah.
end of the record's always the new, you know what I'm saying? Both of those records was co-produced by my guy Groove. I met Groove through a genius from St. Louis named Smino.
Yeah.
And
Cold.
everybody in Smino's crew got that soul. So I met Groove years ago. I bumped back into Groove at Warren Campbell's church about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
He said, T, man, you remember me? I was like, oh, Groove, yeah. He's like, man, I know what you on. I know you on the soul. I think I made a tweet or something. He's like, I want to come over and play some stuff. And he had just the bare idea of that. And I was like, wow. But he came over at the time we was working together. So when I sent you that, I was already searching for some other things for us.
Got you.
So I said, you know what? I think we need this frequency because this feel like, this could go LA or New York. This feel like LA in a certain area, certain era of LA. This feel like New York right now in the subway with us dressed to get to a gig. Because people say, man, New York is something urgent. Then I would say, oh, you ain't never been there because I grew up in New York. I'm not listening to urgent music when I'm walking through urgent places. I'm listening to John Coltrane, Naima, most of my friends. You know what I'm saying? We trying to be soothing to get through them places. So I always think of See You Later as a aggressive, soothing record.
I'm excited to do these records live, man. I think that adds to the magic. I'm not gonna say that's where the magic is. I think the magic is in the records, but also performing those records live.
And then just me and you being able to use all our techniques,
bro,
with no rush at our own, and really say, nah, let's do that. Let's make sure that's that. Because
that's that moment. That's that experience, man. I can already tell. I feel like one of my favorites to do live is gonna be Body and Soul. Man,
oh man, Body.
That record, man. Body and Soul is special, bro. And you know, I say, Body and Soul to me is a modern standard, and of course, it's named after a standard as well, and also a classic by Anita Baker. But I always. Yeah, Body and Soul to me just kind of, it's an ode to, it just feels like it's that world that blends like deep hip hop, but soul, but R&B, like all of the jazz, all of the elements are there in that record, man. And I think the cool thing about it is me imagining it live. There's so many different ways we could approach it.
Yeah. I was imagining when I sent you the track, it was just a loop in a way.
Yeah.
And you sung some things that made me go different places when I added more to music. The song Body and Soul, the standard, one of my favorite standards, and the Anita Baker.
Yeah.
She has a Body and Soul as well. But the standard, when I heard that, it made me say, oh, what would Herbie Hancock do behind Kenyon on this record? And that's why I start adding all the space he's saying.
Yeah.
Because Herbie is so into those spacey, I toured with him for years and we always started the sets off Hollywood, but wherever, with us doing 10 minutes of just, so I wanted to like, the song was dark, but a hug, but I wanted to put us in space. Imagine where it's just you and the person you love looking at each other in space where it's no oxygen.
Yeah.
You gotta focus on what's important. I don't know what would it be at that point, but for the most part, it felt like a trip to space. And
Yeah.
everything. It felt like
It does.
It felt like lovers suspended in midair and not rushing nothing. Whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be sexual, doesn't have to be anything. Whatever they're doing, however they're being intimate, because intimate doesn't always mean touch. I can make a million ways of being intimate without touch, but just, it felt like being suspended in midair with a lover and very little amount of oxygen and you just loving each other. I don't know if that's a feeling.
Dang, we got an album, bro.
We got an album.
From talking about it to making it happen. We did that.
Matter of fact, top to bottom is, shoot, I mean, this is the only West Coast R&B album out going on right now in a while. And I'm talking about with all the elements, you know.
All the elements.
All the elements from the history of LA to the future of LA. Is you with that song, that Ink Pen, singing beautifully. We touching all walks of life. Everybody can feel a part. My mama, she's 7 years old, she can feel it. My son, he 18, he can feel it, man. That's amazing we did that, man.
Man, yeah, it's a special album, bro. And I think what sets it apart even more. Let's play it. Let's play it. Let's go play it. It's the only way, man. I can talk about it, but